Hey guys, so I wanted to make a video for you guys today. The video is going to be about how 150,000 was stolen. I forgot the mic, so I'm trying to get the mic because I'm staying by I'm sitting by the swimming pool and I just feel like it's windy and I want to be able to talk to you guys. Let me see if I can find it. Where can I position you guys from now? Don't pay attention to my not so clean room, okay? Okay, just found it. I think that's it. Let me grab the keys and then technically the people who cleaned the rooms they were supposed to show up, but I guess because I had this sign saying do not disturb. Anyway, let's get started with today's story. Hopefully you guys can hear me out. I was doing some work and then I figured since I'm sitting here, it's kind of quiet here, peaceful. Why not make a video talking about the most annoying thing that happened to me back in 2019? Okay, so here's the story. I was still working in corporate America in 2019. I was working a full-time job as a tax auditor. So my job consisted of auditing companies for the purpose of, state taxes. So I would go most of the time. My days would be like I would go to companies. So let's say I'm auditing a pharmaceutical company. I would go to the premises. They will prepare an office for me or a conference room, and then that's where I will be working from. Just because it makes it easier if you're dealing with financial documentation and things like that. 2019, I was working for this company. I'm not going to say which one, and I was working for the consultant. Okay, the consultant was this really super rich white man from Texas. I mean, from California, but then he moved to Texas from California. Really rich guy. He opened his consulting firm. He started investing in other corporations and things like that. So the guy really didn't need the money. But I think what he told me is that he was just bored, right? He retired earlier and then he got bored. And then he was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and check out if, just the consulting firm is still something that I wanted to do. But he had a full blown company. He had people working for him and things like that. So originally, when I was auditing that company, he was the first. I mean, he was the person I was supposed to talk to. Because usually, what companies do is that when they're getting audited, they hire a consultant, somebody who's external from the company, independent from the company. So they had hired that person. Let's call him Richard. Okay, they hired Richard, and I was supposed to be interacting with him and his firm. Okay, so we had our first initial meeting, and then after that initial meeting, I mean everything went well. Okay, it's just about books, bank statement, financial records, and things like that. I kind of had a better picture of what the company was doing, so I was like, okay, cool. So the second meeting that we had it in his office, and because the first meeting was at the company, it's a big company. It was at that company office. The second meeting was in his company, okay, his consulting firm. So went to his office, and then the conversation went from auditing such and such company to talking about personal goals. Okay, so we just started chit chatting about life and things like that. So while we're talking, he's telling me how he's investing in many people businesses and things like that, and he's asking me what are some of the dreams. Like, I know you're a tax auditor, but is it really what you want to do for the rest of your life? So I was already feeling like, what, this guy is pretty cool, and he's more mature than I. I think he was 52 years old at the time. So I was like, okay, cool. So I started sharing with him some of the things that I wanted to do because, I'm still young, whatever. And I kind of told him that I had this side business, right? I mean, a side gig that was making me, some money. And I had opened a store in Cameroon, and then I had a showroom in Texas, and I was selling online. So he just went straight on the computer, right? On an online store. He was checking it out. He's giving me advice. And then he's like, I can invest in your business, right? Like, that's what I do. So he started showing me a listing of people. Not, he showed me two people in retail that he had invested in, two white women, younger. Not younger than me, but like I mean, in the 30s, they were in the 30s, a little bit older than me at the time. So showed me what the business is, how the businesses were before, and when he invested, what the company became. So I was pretty impressed. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe this guy is just talking for the sake of talking. He's telling me about how he's gonna, um, guide me into becoming really successful in the US. So I'm like, guys, come on. If that was you, wouldn't you be so excited? So I was like, you know what? Maybe God is working, the universe is working for me to make it happen. So that was it. Okay, that was the second meeting that we had. So we kept on having different meetings because I'm still working on that company's audit, right? I'm working on the audits. So by week 2 of us working together, he called me one day. We used to not give our personal number, our cell phone number, just because we didn't want, the other companies, the clients, the consultants to reach out to us personally. So we always gave, office numbers. But for some reason, because this guy was never in the office, I was never in the office because I usually work out of the office. So I figured, you know what, let me just go ahead and give him my number. So that's what I did. Fast forward 2 weeks later, this guy calls me, insisted on having a meeting with me, telling me he had this amazing aha moment and he wants to talk to me. Okay. I'm just like, are we talking about the audit or are we talking about something else? The guy doesn't give me any details whatsoever. I go to the meeting and then we met at a restaurant. That was actually during lunchtime. So I was auditing a different company. And then during lunchtime, we kind of met in Midtown, okay, at the restaurant. So we met there and he just started telling me, he had this like do we say grandiose? He had this amazing, big, bold idea on how I can make it happen in retail with that company, with my bridal company. He gave me the full picture, guys. And then he told me he wants to invest in me because he feels like I got it. I'm really inspiring what I've done so far. And because I had already done fashion shows, so he saw that, right? So he was impressed basically. And then he was like, you know what? I've never given somebody like you a chance. So I do want to invest in your business and things like that. Keep in mind that lines are really great at that moment because I'm like, I'm auditing this company. He's the consultant. I don't know if he's trying to bribe me or what. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? I can deal with you right now if you're really serious because we call it conflict of interest. Okay. I just didn't want to get into some type of, little business with this man, knowing that, you know, I'm auditing the company he's representing. I mean, the client. I'm like, no, this is not what we're gonna do. Let me finish up the audit so that I can, I don't want any conflict of interest. Let me finish up the audit. So that's what I did. 1 month and a half. I think the audit took like 1 month to 1 month and a half, and I was done with it. I sent the final reports to the company, to the clients, to his firm, everything, and then the case was settled. So he came back to me after that time, right? Came back to me again and said, now, are you ready to work? I'm like, wow, this white man, he's serious. Like he's actually serious, He's taking me seriously. So anyway, so we met again another day in um the galleries. I mean, how do you call there's this place in Houston. I don't know. Guys, I've been in Cameroon for 2 years and I feel like I'm already forgetting where I used to live. The Galleria. Okay, that's how it's called, the Galleria. So we met at the Galleria area. If you guys know Houston and you know the Galleria, they have really good posh restaurants and stuff. So he invited me there. He was like, let's go eat, blah, blah, blah. So we went there. I don't think I even ate. I think I took like an appetizer. I mean, I ate appetizer and then a drink. So we started talking business. I had this entire portfolio, right? That I did. I had PowerPoint slides. Guys, I came with a computer, with my laptop. I had PowerPoint slides of what, the how I'm seeing the business grow and how I want to branch out, how I want to create, more like an international feel for the business, not just US Cameroon, but also other countries like France, because at the time I had many clients in France. So we having this conversation, right? He tells me that he's willing to invest $150,000 and that he has made his decision. That's how much he's going to invest in me. I'm in awe because nobody ever gave me anything. I'm in awe. At this point, I'm like, okay, Maybe this man is joking. You know what? The conversation, the meeting was done. I was like, let me go home, let me cook that information, like let me digest it and see if this man is serious, right? So he tells me he's gonna start drafting, he will start drafting contracts, and then he will ask his people to kind of meet with me and stuff like that. So the next week, he's been, I think, in California because he used to travel all the time. So he went to San Francisco, went to California, but now this guy is becoming something else, right? Because now he's texting me. Once in a while, he'll be texting me, "Hey, how you doing, beautiful?" I'm like, "Excuse me." Like, guys, I was like, "Okay, like, this is yeah, this is no, okay, cool." I'm thinking to myself, rich men, they think everybody is baby, beautiful, sweetheart. You know what? He's gonna give me a nickname. I was okay with it. I mean, guys, it wasn't that I was okay with it. I was thinking about the money. I was thinking about how my company is gonna go. I'm gonna be real, okay? That's what I was thinking of. So I was like, you know what? It doesn't hurt. He's gonna call me sweetheart, baby, whatever. I'm gonna take it as long as he's serious. So the following week he comes back to Texas. He wants to meet again. So eventually we met again. And then the guys, I mean, that's when everything went south. Okay. So we met again and he basically poured his heart. Like it wasn't even like professional meeting. Hey Jenny, this is the analysis, this is how I benchmark your like guys, it wasn't about that anymore. This man, this 52 years old man, and he looked good by the way. 52 years old white man basically told me, "Hey, I want us to do business, but I need to tell you how I feel about you." So he started telling me how he's been thinking about me. He can get me out of his head. He doesn't know what to do. He's married. He's married. He's married, and he still does not understand why he's so attracted to me. So the guy kept. I mean, he went on and on and on and on. And at this point, I'm just like, OMG, OMG. And I was just like, okay, where's this thing going? Okay. So basically that meeting wasn't a proper meeting because he was just pouring his heart. So I left the meeting. I was like, you know what? We need to set boundaries because I'm not looking for a relationship. I don't want to date you. You're a married man. I'm allergic to married men. So when you get your things, your ish together, and you're serious to do business, then let's talk, right? So I left the place. So in the meantime, he's calling me back and forth, right? Like the next day he calls me, the next day after that he calls me. I finally picked up the phone after 2 days. Picked up the phone and then he tells me, "Can we meet?" And then I said, "If we're gonna meet, then it has to be about business. It can't be about how you're feeling about me." Then the guy asked me to meet him in his hotel room. Like, first of all, why are you in a hotel? Why are you in a hotel? He's in a penthouse in the hotel, like the last floor of one of those. Like, why? He sent me pictures. He sends me pictures and he says, "This is where I'm staying. My friend has this hotel, and that's where I'm staying. Could you please join me?" And I said, "Heck to the no." At this point, I was already annoyed, guys. I was so annoyed because I knew this was already going in another direction. Okay, so I didn't show up. Eventually, I didn't show up, but I was just like, this is crazy. Because in the meantime, guys, I've been cooking the idea of expanding my business and having the 150. Even though the guy had said $50,000, I was still gonna be excited. But the fact that he said $150,000, and then he had his people, I forgot that part. He had his people reach out to me to kind of, work on the contract and things like that. So his office, I mean, his company, his people were reaching out to me for that. The contract, his shares on the company, the responsibility, roles and responsibilities. Is he going to be a silent investor and so forth? So the whole thing was moving in that direction. And then this man just, I mean, in his words, he said, "I just fell in love." Okay. So so at this point I'm like, okay, are we still gonna do business or you just want to be talking about love? So for like a good week, we didn't talk, we didn't interact, nothing like that. Okay. So he calls me one day and he said he's ready to make he's ready to wire the 150,000 into my bank account. He can give it to me by check or he can give it to me by, he can just wire the funds. So he asks at that point, his people were almost done drafting the contract, so he wanted us to meet again. So I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm already annoyed because I'm like, I don't know if this thing is going to go forward. Okay. So, but I still had hope. I was like, maybe, guys, I don't even know what I was thinking. I was younger. Okay. Whatever. So, I mean, 2019 younger, not that young. So, I met with him again after like 2 weeks from, the whole, can you come to my hotel room? So I met with him again 2 weeks later. And then he told me he is willing to give me the 150,000. He just wants to be close to me. Like he doesn't want to be just an investor. He wanted to be more than that. And that's when I was like, you know what? The 150,000 is looking so juicy right now. No. Like I just said no. I just said no. This is like betraying myself, betraying my own integrity just because of the sake of money. And as much as 150,000 would have been really good money, but I just felt like it wasn't good enough money for me to be entertaining a married man who's going to be expecting me to be, dating him, sleeping with him, traveling with him because he wanted us to travel, right? Like his intention, the way he was saying it. Like, if we together, we're gonna travel, blah 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 blah. So I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna lose the 150,000 because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Um, and I remember at the time I told this story to my coworker, one of my coworker, um, and he told me that coworker is, he's African as well, and he told me he was like, I don't know what type of woman you are. Do you know how many women would have just said yes for the sake of traveling, living that lavish life, and at the same time having the business grow? Do you know what like? I mean, he wasn't saying it as an I did wrong by not accepting whatever this guy was offering, but he was just shocked that 150,000 was offered to me on a plate. A relationship with an older man was offered to me. The possibility to travel to go to fancy places was offered to me, and I said no. He was shocked. He was shocked, and I remember showing him messages and things like that. I was like, dude, I just could not do it. This is not me. Like I wouldn't date for money, right? And I would not date a married man for nothing, even though I don't care. As long as you're married, I'm allergic to married men. So anyway, guys, that was my story. I just thought of it recently. I was like, oh my God. I could have been rich. I could have been living my best life. I could have been that type of influencer that you guys see, going on private jets, living her best life. I'm still living my best life, okay? But not to that level that this man was offering to me. I mean, guys, anyway, this is my story. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you've had similar experience as a woman or as a man. Why not? So let me know if you had a deal that was almost impossible for you to just digest. So anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below. Comment down below what you think, and then I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.